Josh Johnson, up here killing myself. Peacock. I
Yeah.
actually had a chance to watch it today. And let me tell you, you have a very unpredictable way of telling stories, which I find fascinating.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I do. You leave the audience like, what's he gonna say next? Like you can't figure it out, you know? And I
Yeah, I
love
mean,
it.
I hope so.
I love it. Um, Now, were there any comics that you watched growing up that particularly that inspired you and your delivery?
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed the little bit. So I had to sneak to watch it because I wasn't allowed to watch it. But the little bit of prior that I got to watch and then I got to appreciate it when I got older. My dad always loved Kings of Comedy. So, he was a huge fan of Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, Dale Hughley. And he was like, those were some of his favorites, period.
Yes.
And so then I feel like some of that trickled over to me where they're some of my favorites as well now because they not just give me memories of him, but also give me a sense of like their storytelling is always really great and their like stage presence phenomenal. And then as I got older, I started to watch more people that I felt like had great stories. I remember when I was younger, one of the first specials that I watched like through and through and got excited about and watched multiple times was Christopher Titus's Norman Rockwell's Bleeding. And I just was like, wow,
Never
this
seen it.
dude is like he was being very vulnerable and he was being really funny even though it was super dark and everything. And that was one of the first times I saw someone do comedy like that. And
Mm-hmm.
then ever since then I've been like, man, that was really unique.
Right.
And obviously it's important to be funny. Funny is like job number one, but then everything that you add on to that becomes your personality and what you bring to the table.
You've just said so much. Number one, I can definitely see the Richard Pryor influence because he was very kind of nonchalant when he told his stories. And I get that drift from you. I get that energy from you when I watch you. And
That's very kind. Well, thank you.
I do. It's great. Um, what you also mentioned was the dark humor. And up here killing myself. I mean, you were very, very brave. I thought this was very brave of you to do um, because you mentioned that if you didn't have this outlet, I mean, that is really brave of you to say. And in the darkest of times, we need our outlets to get us through. And you just really went straight for it. You didn't pull any punches. Now, what was your intent? I know, I mean, I can see, I had a lot of takeaways from it. But when you decided to title this the way you did, what was your intent?
I mean, I think it is definitely a play on words on the fact that obviously everything I'm talking about I find very funny, and so
Mhm.
it's all of the things that are the funniest to me that make me laugh and everything, but they're also pulling from a time where I was not okay, where I wasn't doing well, and some of my like worst times in my life, and so it it uh it just works both ways in that it describes both of them equally.
Right, right. It's like this yin and yang. It's almost like a balance that you're carrying within yourself. Now, you dropped a lot of gems in this. I mean, you
Oh,
always
thanks.
drop gems. You do. I mean, laughter is a means of processing. Um, Being fine and how that equals having gratitude. Uh, I thought that it was great when you mentioned the death threats, the story of the death threats, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
mentioned like having to assess the situation and that the cops can't help you and that you have to just be more aware of your surroundings and how women have to go through that. I just thought that was, I mean,
Yeah.
that perspective, shedding light on all those different issues. It's a very real human experience.
Yeah, well,
So,
thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that it was able to be taken that way because that's definitely the way that I intended. And like, you know, anytime you put something out there, you no longer have a control over how people perceive it. So
mhm.
the fact that those were your takeaways means that it came through clear, which is always I'm thankful for, you know.
Yes. Now, when did you realize that comedy was your lane?
I started in 2012,
Mhm.
and obviously when you start something, you're not like I think that when I started comedy, I had a knack for it, but to say that I was good is not doing justice to the amount of time it takes to get good. Obviously we'd like everyone to believe that we just woke up day one way we are and are killing
Right.
it. But overall, I think that, yeah, it took a little bit of time for me to feel comfortable and feel like I really had a future in this and that I had a place in it. And then from there, I think it still took a little bit, and I'm still working on this part of having the uh the discipline to go get what I believe I can have. I
Mhm.
think that there's something to be said for, yeah, you'll see people who have talent or people who are skilled, and then I think there's still a different skill all unto itself of bringing those things together and knowing when to collaborate, when to go at it on your own, yeah, like a sort of, when to seek people out, when to, DIY and everything. And so I've been very, very lucky, very blessed to have the collaborators that I've had and to have the mentors that I've had and everything. I think that it's very easy for people to sort of be like, "Oh no, I'm here because I'm great and I'm just a genius and stuff." And
Right.
it's like I think that does a disservice to everyone that's helped you along the way, whether it was like a kind word or actual mentorship or advice or anything, or just opportunity.
Mhm.
So I've been very blessed to be around people who wanted to help me, who knew how, and who had done it before.
Right. Right now, you speak of collaborators. Uh, who haven't you collaborated with yet that you would like to?
Okay, the list is too long and it's gonna make me sound thirsty. So I'll just say, hey, there's a lot of people out there that I think are great.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I know. And you know, I listened to your latest mixtape. You had Elusive, which was first, then you had Black Channel. Now, again, I love how you call it it's like it's a mixtape and how you kind of fuse together the social agenda with your comedy. What made you want to do it the way you did it? Like,
Um, yeah, I think with Elusive, I was just learning. I
mm,
reached out to Mike Realm in the pandemic and asked him if he would like to EP on it and everything, and if he was feeling like he could take that on. And I was very lucky that he did. And so we just started reaching out to artists that we knew, artists we really respected. So I worked with Groovebox, I worked with Wayne Tucker, which crazy enough, shout out to both of them. Mike Realm did the intro music for the
okay.
special, and then Wayne Tucker, that's his song that's on the outro. And so getting to collaborate with them again even is like something that came through from the mixtape, and it really taught me to reach out to people and let people know that you love and respect their work, because that's one of the best ways to like forge those friendships and everything, and to make new art together. And then
Mhm.
for Channel Black, it was more, I felt very lucky at the time to be surrounded by all of these comics that I really think are great. I really think are this like new wave in black comedy and are going to do amazing things. And so I asked them to be a part of it, and they thankfully all said yes. And so once they were down, I was kind of like, oh, then I think that this is I
It's
think that,
innovative. It was very innovative.
yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I think that from there, the only challenge was getting all the copyrights we needed, because
Yeah.
that was sometimes a bit difficult to track down. But once again, Mike Realm worked on the music that is behind the speeches. So when we got permission to use Dick Gregory talking to Congress, that was Mike's track under Dick Gregory and everything. So um, having these people to collaborate with musically and also help change the way I think towards comedy has been
Right.
like a
Well,
real blessing.
you're having, well, what you're doing is you're creating change with everyone. Like now I'm viewing comedy different. So bravo to you.
Oh,
You're
thank
doing a
you.
great job. You really, you
Thank
truly
you.
are. And I really, I'm gonna rewatch Up Here Killing Myself. I want to rewatch it just because there's so many nuances in there, and I want
Oh,
to make sure
thank you.
it's so again on Peacock. Yes, everyone check it out on Peacock. It airs February 17th. Josh Johnson, thank you so much for your
Thank
interview today.
you.
Right? Bless.
Yeah, great to chat with you. Thank you. Hope to see you again.
Yes, likewise.